Well, good morning. Welcome to Station 31. We're here this morning. I'm Lieutenant Mike Norman, M-I-K-E-N-O-R-M-A-N. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Cleveland Division of Fire. We're here today to remember Wilbert McCormick. Wilbert was a man who lived a life of service. He first served for his country in the U.S. Navy, and in 1981 he joined the Cleveland Division of Fire and served for over 30 years, the majority of it on Ladder 31 here in the Collinwood neighborhood. Wilbert was many things. He was a husband, a father. He and his wife Anita lost their son Lennell 10 years ago. Tragic car accident, a hit and skip on Kinsman and East 69th on August 18th, 2016. As a father, I can't even imagine the pain that must have caused the couple. And then tragically, 6 years ago today, Wilbert was struck by a bullet and killed in Forest Hills Park. So we're here today to support Venita, and hopefully someone will have some information that can provide some closure for the family. And I appreciate everybody for coming out today. And this time I'll introduce Venita McCormick. Introduce yourself and spell your name for me.
Hi everyone, my name is Venita McCormick, V as in Victor, E-N-I-T-A, M-C-C-O-R-M-I-C-K. I am Wilbert McCormick's wife, and I come this morning to share to the public about my husband and my son's death. I wanted to just start off by saying, as the Lieutenant mentioned briefly, on August the 18th, 2016, I lost my baby son, Lennell McCormick, to a hit and run vehicle. He was only 24 years old. His life was taken. My son left behind his siblings and his mom and a host of family members. We are still grieving my son's loss. And his case is still unsolved. I also like to mention 6 years ago, on this exact day, July 21st, 2020, not only is it today's date, but it's the exact Tuesday that my husband's life was taken. My husband and I went for our daily walk in the park, and my husband was struck in the back of his head by a bullet. This has caused so much grief and so much pain, so much anguish for me and my family members. And there hasn't been a day that goes by that I don't miss my loved ones. My heart is grieved today. My heart is broken today. But I stand here with strong courage to ask all that are watching, all that know what happened to my son, anyone that's watching, anyone that knows what happened to my son, what happened to my husband, to please come forth. We need closure. We need peace. And we pray for that. We pray that someone would come forth. We have not forgotten our loved ones. We will never forget them. I will continue to speak for both of them as long as God gives me breath in my body. But we're pleading to please come forth to do the right thing, to speak up. If it were your child, if it were your husband, if it was your nephew, if it was your grandfather, it was your uncle, what would you do? How can you hold back? How can you not come forth and provide some information? Thank you.
Thank you, Vanita. Next up, we'll hear from retired firefighter Tim Dagg.
Good morning. Thank you to everybody for coming, all the dignitaries here. Thank you. My name's Tim Dagg, T-I-M, last name D-A-G-G. I did roughly 30 years with Wilbur, and when I think of Wilbur, on ladder, I was on the engine. We took care of each other, but you know, I think of the four absolutes: loving, honesty, purity, and most of all, unselfishness. Wilbur was unselfish, and most of all, I think loving, because he loved the Cleveland Fire Department. He loved the community that he protected. He loved his family, and he loved everybody. Might not have liked everyone, but he loved them. He was really a spiritual man, and missed. And I really reach out to the community to try to find out maybe who did this and solve this. We all miss Wilbur to this day. 6 years today. It happened on a Tuesday, going for a walk with his wife. Wilbur wore many hats, and he wore them all well. On that note, I'm going to thank you for coming. Thank
you. This time we'll have Keith Brown. We'll have a couple members of the family address you. Keith, are you ready?
Introduce yourself. Okay. My name is Keith Brown. That's Keith Brown, Brown. Wilbur was my brother-in-law, and today we're here to commemorate once again this tragic event. We're all against gun violence and the traumatization that happens to the families, the friends, and the total community involved. So I would like everyone to become more involved some kind of way by joining anti-gun violence groups or stop the violence groups. There are many of them locally and nationally. We all need to get more involved if we want to put an end to this scourge. We can also call our politicians when they see laws are coming to make guns more easily accessible, to call them and let them know we don't need more guns on the streets. And the number 3 thing that we should do is stay connected to all the people who have been victims, like Bonita, and all the people across this country who are victims of gun violence. We need to support them and let them know they haven't been forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Next up, we'll hear from his brother, Danny McCormick.
Okay. Hi, my name is Daniel McCormick, DANIEL MCCORMICK. I'd like to thank you all for coming out and honoring my brother. I'd like to thank the fire department for their unwavering support of our family. And I'd like to also speak out against the gun violence and especially the hit skip. It seems to be the prevalence today that people don't take accountability for their actions. The minute they have an accident, the first thing they want to do is run. And we need to try to make sure that people have the character to stay when they have an accident, and sometimes that they need to know that enforcement needs to make sure that the penalties are higher for people who run rather than stay and face the consequences of their actions. So again, thank you to the media, thank you to the fire department, and thank you.
Thank you, Danny. So we'll conclude at this time. Does anybody have questions for anyone? We can do individual. Yes.
What have you heard from police when it comes to update in either case of your son or your husband?
If any, yeah, we come up. Come back up. Come back up. So Did you hear the question?
I didn't.
Will you repeat the question, please?
What have you heard from police when it comes to the investigations in either case from your husband or your son?
Today, it's been barely any communication.
Anybody else? Talk here. Well, thanks for coming. We'll conclude this part of the media event, and we'll have individual one-on-ones as needed.